A serial murderer entombs his victims in the walls of a mysterious building. Welcome to Cinema Magic. Today, we'll show you a Canadian-made 2009 horror thriller titled Walled In. Based on Sergei Brossolot's best-selling French novel Les Immures, about a demolition company structural engineer who supervises the raising of a mysterious building and discovers horrifying secrets and past inhabitants entombed within its walls by a vicious murderer. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. When the light turns on, a girl is seen sitting alone in a tight space. She starts banging on the walls and calling out to her father, but no one responds. Not long after, cement begins pouring down on her from the walls. The little girl can't go anywhere else and is buried alive. The movie jumps to 15 years later. We see that young Sam has just graduated from her engineering course. Being her 25th birthday, and that she's also graduated, her father presents an interesting proposal. Her first demolition project on her own, and if she succeeds, she's no longer her father's employee, but his partner. Her first assignment happens to be this gigantic, unique architectural structure located out in the middle of nowhere. As the building looms in the distance beyond the dirty windshield of her old pickup, she loses cell phone coverage. The structure is the product of Joseph Malestraza, who is an eccentric architect obsessed with Egyptian architecture. The building is a stylish and uniquely designed high-rise apartment. Sam enters the building and is greeted by Mary, the caretaker. Sam tells Mary that she'll be staying in the apartment while she prepares for the demolition, and this would be more convenient. Mary's son Jimmy takes her bags to her apartment and explains the rules of the building. Before Sam enters her room, Jimmy tells Sam to never go up to the roof because it's dangerous. However, she enters her room and immediately takes a bath to clean herself up. Sam asks about the building, and Mary's surprised that Sam is unaware of the building's history and that it's better that she doesn't know. Sam's curious, and while at the local store, she looks on the internet and finds that the Malestraza building was a crime scene where 16 bodies were found entombed in the walls. Since Sam knows the story about the building, she plans to go to the 8th floor. Jimmy takes her to the 8th floor and tells her the story. The Malestrazas' mistake was taking the girl's scene at the beginning of the movie. The girl had a puppy, and when the police questioned the architect, the puppy darted into his apartment and led the police to a wall. They found the little girl in the wall. Jimmy is now that puppy's owner. The police then locate 15 additional bodies on the walls of the 8th floor. Mary and her husband were also residents of the apartment building. Mary had to identify her husband, whose face was ripped off by the concrete while she was pregnant with Jimmy. They arrested a disgruntled factory worker for the murderers. All of a sudden, the lights go out at the end of the abandoned 8th floor, and Sam sees a shadow at the end of the corridor. She tries to chase it as it walks away, but gets scared, and while running, she injures her leg. Jimmy cleans her wound in the bathroom and then begins feeling her thigh. Sam asks what he's doing, and he realizes his mistake and stops. Sam has nightmares about being entombed in the walls, just like the ones at the beginning of the film. She can no longer sleep, and she wanders around her apartment. Suddenly, something appears right in front of her, shocking her. However, it's just her boyfriend, Peter, who wants to give her a surprise. Sam takes Peter to look around the apartment. They secretly go to the 8th floor. While exploring the 8th floor, Sam and her boyfriend discover a secret passageway on the floor. Sam goes down it and she discovers a secret room. While climbing down, she notices a peephole directly to her bathroom. She realizes that the creepy Jimmy has been spying on her while she's been taking a bath. She talks to Mary about it, and Jimmy, who feels embarrassed, walks away. Later that evening, Peter and Sam decide to leave the building in the morning. In the next scene, we see Peter and Sam spend their time together that night. Jimmy's on the other side of the wall, listening and feeling distraught. Sam stops in the middle and he's worried, aware that Jimmy might be there. The next day, they wake up and find Jimmy's butchered dog in their apartment. Sam's boyfriend thinks Jimmy killed the dog and wants to leave. As they were about to leave, Jimmy gives Sam a gift, Malestraza's journal, which talks about the design of the building and his theories. The building was like the Egyptian pyramids. She also realizes that that's why the building has so much space in the middle and that there's something in the center where light can show all the way down to the basement. Jimmy tells her that he's going to go to the roof and find the light source she's talking about. When Jimmy doesn't return, Sam and her boyfriend go to the roof. Now they hear Jimmy calling from down in the shaft, saying that he's badly hurt and his leg is broken. With her boyfriend lowering down the hole, Sam climbs to rescue Jimmy. However, her boyfriend suddenly got shot dead with a nail gun. Sam falls to the bottom of the hole. Sam awakens in the basement area, naked but covered with blankets. She sees a man sitting with a lamp on. Sam finds her clothes and puts them on. She asks the man who he is, but he says she already knows. She figures out that he's Malestraza. He plays the tape for her of Jimmy asking for help. Jimmy keeps her down there with Malestraza until she learns to love him. Sam learns that Malestraza is the mastermind behind the murders. She keeps asking about her boyfriend, and Malestraza tries to tell her that he's dead by cutting his arm and saying 1 mark for every soul. He also tells her that if he does what Jimmy wants, that he'll be nice, but he can be very cruel and imaginative when he disobeys Jimmy's orders. He further reveals that one of the victims was Mary's husband. So, as an act of revenge, Mary decided to keep Malestraza locked up in this shaft forever as a prisoner. After this shocking revelation, Jimmy's back at the hole and sends down a cassette tape. Malestraza plays the tape, and Jimmy says that he wants to see Sam and Malestraza dance. Malestraza tells her that they need to obey Jimmy's order, so Sam agrees to dance. But when Jimmy tells them to kiss, she refuses. Malestraza pulls her close and forces her to kiss him. After a few seconds, Jimmy tells them to stop and threatens the architect not to touch Sam again. He lowers a basket of food and a radio so that Sam can communicate with him. The next day, Sam lies to Jimmy that he's wounded, and she asks for medicine and supplies to treat her wound, which Jimmy sends them down after she reveals herself to him. With the supplies, Sam creates a bomb, trying to blast open the walls and escape. Suddenly, rain starts to fall on the ground, revealing a corpse underneath the soil. Finally, she lights the bomb, but the explosion fails to create an escape path. As Sam cries over the bomb's failure, the architect tells her how this building has withstood the test of time, just like the Great Pyramid of Giza. He tells her that the secret behind both structures' survival is the entombing and burying of human sacrifices inside them. That time, Jimmy overhears the explosion and is furious with Sam for trying to escape. Mary also arrives there after hearing the explosion, but discovers that Jimmy has put Sam in that hole. She realizes that Sam must stay in the hole with Malestraza, or else she'll report this incident to the police, and they'll take Mary away and Jimmy will be an orphan. The demolition team arrives and her father asks where Sam is. Mary tells him that she's left. Her father says that he thought she'd want to see her first building demolished. Mary keeps Jimmy calm as they set up and install the explosives. As the countdown begins, Jimmy starts saying Sam, then screams her name and runs toward the building. Sam's father tells them to stop the countdown. At the roof, Jimmy looks down, and her father asks what he's done. Jimmy then throws himself over and lands next to Sam. Sam's lifted out of the hole and put in an ambulance. At the film's end, Sam narrates that Malestraza built 27 buildings and that they're all still standing. He considered this apartment building his masterpiece. He didn't want it to be demolished. He even sacrificed himself to save the building. So, as a sign of respect, the building will not be demolished and will remain his legacy. And that's how the movie ends. That's all for this video. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon to stay up to date with such interesting movie video recaps.